everyone. Happy Monday. Start the week off right. So if you're watching now or on the replay, hello, welcome, namaste. Today I'm going to be sharing a subject that came from a vision that I had yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm not quite sure, but I've entitled it The Voice of Change, because I believe that many of the people that are listening now or maybe later will be experiencing this shift that seems to be happening in the collective at the moment. And I think we're being called now into our gifts even more than we ever were before. So I'm going to share with you the vision, and then you can decide where you fit in the scenario, if at all. So the vision started, it was quite profound and really realistic, but I found myself back in what appeared to be like the 18th century, I think. I was wearing kind of like these old-fashioned clothes with a big like white collar and this sort of brown tweed dress and the corset, and was got my brown boots on. Everything was really accurately described in this vision. And in the vision I was waking up to the sound of horse and carriage outside, and it was like this dusty kind of road between these two rows of buildings, and you had the tavern and you had like the little buildings where people would meet, and the bank and what have you, the chemist, but it was really old-fashioned. And I woke up in this place and I opened the door, and it was just the sound of like these horse and carts and horses neighing and people walking around in their boots outside in the sand. And I was like, what on earth is going on here? Why have I been transported back into the 18th century? But I felt like me, it was still me. And I grabbed someone, and I felt this feeling of whoever I was in this scenario or this vision. I was quite wealthy, and I called to this man on the street and I said, I need a postman. I need someone to send a letter, because I suddenly realized that there was no form of communication, and the only form of communication in this era was through writing a letter, sealing it, and then getting someone to ride a horse and take it to that person. And as I handed this letter, I had all these waves of panic, like, wait a minute, where's my family? Like my dad, he lives in Wales. Where am I in the world? How do I even know that Wales exists? Like, whereabouts am I located? And if I can only travel as far as the horse and cart will travel, like, have I even discovered some of these places? Do I know of other countries? And I was starting to realize the lack of knowledge, or the lack of knowing what was outside of this little town. And in this dream I started to panic, and then somebody came through the door, and I was saying, do you not have telephones? And they were saying, telephones? I was like, telephones, you know, you pick them up and you call someone and they pick it up, you talk to them on the line, on the landline. And they were like, I think you need to go to bed. Like, do we need to call a doctor? And I was having these waves of, oh my goodness, I've come back in time to a point where knowledge of technology and the advancement of technology and civilization, it's not here yet. And so I was trying to explain. I was like, yeah, there's a telephone. You call people, and said, and in the future you're on an electric device and you can have video calls, so you can see that person on the device. And then I was realizing as I was saying it, like, this must sound like utter nonsense to these people in this era. And I was trying to describe like Zoom calls, and I was like, I give up. Like, these people gonna think I'm mad describing all these things. Anyway, then the dream shot me forward, and I was in 2025. And as I hit 2025, I realized I was in the future, or even though I'm in this present moment. And here I am doing a video to all of whoever's listening out there all over the world, and you're able to receive my visual and me in real time. And I was realizing I'm in the future compared to what I've just seen, and these things that I'm experiencing that we take for granted are very advanced for even the 18th century. We've moved on so fast, we've evolved so fast. And as I thought that, I saw in the sky this big V in the clouds, and coming through the V in the clouds was this white, it was made out of clouds, but it was this man on a white horse, like a horseman, and he had a sword in his right hand and he had a shield in his left hand, and he was charging towards me. And he said, I'm calling those that can hear these messages, because they're coming with more information, in the same way you've just experienced going back into the 18th century and trying to describe telephones and technology to people from that time period. They think you're a bit cray-cray. Now you're here in 2025, and what I'm telling you is I am sending people from the advancement of the future, even though time doesn't really exist. I'm sending people like yourself who can receive this information from the future, and I'm sending it to the channelers. He wrote down the channelers, the people with a voice, the prophets, the psychics, the teachers, the leaders, the seers, the echoes, and the guides. So if you see yourself in any of those categories, if you feel like you channel for the divine, or if you feel like you get psychic intuition, or you feel like you are a seer, you see advanced, you see ahead, you can see the future. If you feel like you're here to lead others, if you feel like you're here to teach, and there was branches coming off these gifts, but these main gifts were in the circle, and the branches coming off the gift of the seer or the prophet or the channeler, their point was to encourage, their point was to advance, their point was to lead and guide. And with this new information that this horseman was telling me is coming in, we are going to be getting downloads that are going to guide us and instruct us of what's yet to come in the future. And in the same way those people thought I was crazy in the 18th century as I tried to describe these things, me as that person was like, no, it exists, it really exists. I know it sounds crazy that we can talk to each other and have visuals on a phone, or the internet didn't exist, but this is the reality. And then in that same mindset, this horseman was saying, let me show you what is to come, and let me show you how you can guide yourself and others through the advancement of what's happening. We're surrounded at this moment with AI, we're surrounded by new inventions, robots are being created, all sorts of things. And I had this flash suddenly of sitting in my lounge now in the 21st century, and rather than having a phone call or a Zoom like this, it was like the movies, like Star Wars or something. We were able to have holograms of people rather than just a visual like this on a FaceTime. They literally were holograms, physical, in my lounge, and we were able to share breakfast together, for example. We were able to share a meeting, like a business meeting, and those people were like holographically projected and standing there from foot to head in the room. So there was this way of, in the future, that we were able to see each other. Technology advanced to a point where you really felt like you're actually in the same room as that person. And I saw other means of travel. So like we go from airplanes, which we didn't know anything of in the past, travel from country to country. Well, in the future, I was seeing there was means of travel that have not yet been invented. And it was a lot faster than what we experience now. And there were these weird things like almost like portals. It was quite strange, but I couldn't quite understand it. But Spirit was saying, we are here to evolve. He said the information is coming soon with intelligence to help you as humanity evolve, and to guide you forwards in the evolution of mankind and the evolution. I mean, you think of like consciousness is evolving. People are waking up to the idea that what we used to presume as miraculous is now, for some of us, just normal. Like, we can have visions of the future, or we can have experiences where we're astral projecting, or we can have, you know, out of body experiences, or all kinds of things. People are moving things with energy, all these gifts that are coming out. And in the future, I saw that people were really, really harnessing these gifts in a way that was becoming normal, enabled to advance mankind. And at the same time, I also saw a timeline. There was 2 splits, and I was told it's happening now. And it looked a lot like Gaia, or Mother Earth, when an earthquake happens and the earth splits and the plates move, and one was higher than the other. And then Spirit said, some of you at this point in history are going to shift and come onto a higher timeline with this new information, and with this new gifts, and with this ability to have these downloads that will assist and harness the evolution of mankind. Some of you are going to have ideas that haven't yet been birthed, that are coming from this higher realm, this higher intelligence, that will be the seeds of new technology, of new advancements in science, of new understanding of the expansiveness and the vastness of divine. And yet others are going to just stay where they are. So you're going to feel this shift. And in that sense, a lot of people that you might align with now are going to shift out of your reality, because they're not in alignment to this new information or this new way of living. And the way that I saw it was, in this higher timeline, we were connecting with Spirit in a way that was so intimately orchestrated, you couldn't really tell where we as humans ended and Spirit began. We were so perfectly weaved that we were operating in a way that seemed supernatural, or a bit like, what am I thinking? Like superhuman beings, like with these, like Marvel characters, you know, that there was invisibility cloaks, and it seemed just ridiculous, but this was the way that we were operating. Or just the power of telepathy, or, you know, some of these things we're tasting, but it was so advanced that we were walking and moving and having our being with this spiritual interconnection of this knowledge. And then this horseman said to me, go and ask the trees. He said, everybody ignores the trees, yet the trees have stood here with their roots in this earth before you were born, and they will be here after you die. And they hold wisdom that you're not listening to. And, you know, you can think, why am I being asked to talk to a tree? You know, there's all these jokes about, go hug a tree, or, oh, those tree huggers. But in this vision, I walked up to the tree that I knew I had to speak to, and I said to the tree, what do you want to tell me? And the tree said to me in a telepathic, didn't speak with a mouth, I heard it speak through my spirit, and it said, your roots are deep, your trunk is long, your branches are outstretched. Now, let them come. Let the birds come and rest in your branches, and let the animals find rest in your arms. I've just written all this down, otherwise I'll forget it. So I really felt like in that picture, those processes, first the tree is a seed, and then it starts its roots below, and then you start to see it above. And it was like showing me your roots have spent years integrating into the earth. You have a strong foundation. And this isn't just for me, this is the tree speaking to those that are on this timeline. If you're on this timeline, this will speak to your heart. Your roots have been clinging and digging deep into the earth. You have a solid foundation. Your trunk is long. Your branches are outstretched. There's fruit. You haven't just got a long trunk. You've outstretched. You started to speak your wisdom. You started to use your gifts. You're already operating in this place. You've set yourself up and you're ready. Now Spirit is saying, let them come. And don't be afraid to let them come, because there might be a resistance. And I was hearing about the opposite. We think we're in control. We like to be in control as humans. And I've been in this place where Spirit's like pushing me forwards, and I'm like, And there's a part of us in our sort of fight and flight survival mode that feels like it wants to have control to keep us safe. But Spirit was telling me it's not control. You're just resisting what is for you. And in resisting what is for you, you're just delaying what is to come. and your soul wants what you're resisting, but because of your human responses, the unfamiliar can feel scary, so you resist. And Spirit said, stop resisting and let them. Let the people come. Let them come and listen to your voice. Let them come and listen to your instruction. Let them come to your courses. Let them come and listen to your music. Let them come to whatever it is that you're there. Okay, you've put your roots in the ground. You've allowed your trunk. You've created these, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. You've created the space. But now that you've prepared it, Spirit's telling me some of you are scared to use what you've prepared, because you never really thought you'd get there. You don't really have that self-belief. But don't have self-belief, have spirit belief. Know who you are in spirit, in your strength. Your strength doesn't come from the human aspect of yourself. Your human aspect is just an avatar that has to agree to what your soul knows it needs to do. And on those lines, Spirit said, what is the point of creating all these things? Hey Zany, what is the point of creating all of these things if you're not going to integrate it into the earth? What is let's, for example, going back to the very beginning of this talk, if a man, the man that created the telephone, had this great idea, it's a bit tedious having to send all these letters by horse. I'm going to create another way of communication. I've invented the telephone in my mind. He conceived the idea of creating a telephone. Yeah, his branches were ready, he got the whole thing, he got the idea, yet he never shared it, he never wrote it down. We wouldn't have a telephone. And so therefore humanity, in its advancements of technology, would have been stunted in that area. And if every person that had that idea or the prototype didn't grow, and it took a process. But you see what I'm saying? If people ignore the conception of these thoughts, because these are divine thoughts, I think. And Spirit was telling me, don't fear what's happening. Don't fear the future. There's a lot of fear around AI and this. And yes, things can be used for ill will. But there is an advancement that is taking place that is actually for our good. And we as spirits are highly intelligent beings, and our humanity is slowly catching up. But the feeling was there's going to be this wave coming in. I don't know, I don't want to put words on what that looks like. I know people are talking about all kinds of crazy things at the moment, but it's just going to be downloaded into us as human beings. This information, this knowledge, this wisdom, these ideas, this flashes of the future where we can see where we're heading to. So in that light, if you start to receive these downloads, or you start to get these ideas that seem a bit whack, Spirit's saying, that's okay. Let it come through you. Let it process. Let it breathe. Let them come. The integration of these spiritual ideas has to make a 3-strand cord knot in order to exist and manifest in reality. It has to take form. And then as I was seeing that, it was like, out of my heart, seeing this cry came. I go to heaven, I do all these things, and yet there was this deeper cry. Deep was calling to deep. And it said, let me experience and go to the places where I've never seen beyond this veil, the veil of illusion, of what we can't see. And I saw myself traveling through heaven, and it was all pink clouds, and there was all these wonderful, it looked like fluffy candy floss and just this bliss. And I was traveling, and it was like Moses splitting the ocean. Spirit, God, Source, he's just split the ocean, but it wasn't the ocean. He split heavens, and he let me travel through deeper into these places where I'd never experienced before. And I said, what's the point of me experiencing these things if I don't then come backwards and integrate it here? And how we integrate that, or how I integrate that, is by sharing my story, my testimony of these experiences and of these messages as I receive them. They're not just for me, they're for me to share with you guys. And junk, that's it. I channel and then I know where it's done. So whoop, that's my channel message for you today. Let the information come. Don't be afraid of what you see. Take it, allow it to take root within you, and then share it, or allow them to come so that they can receive the others. You'll know if this is resonating Are you a voice of change? Are you bringing a new message? Are you a willing vessel for Spirit to speak through you, to bring the evolution, the expansion of you? Like, sometimes we're so limited and Spirit's like, there's more, there's more. Let your beauty just expand. There's more. Will you allow it? You can resist it. Are you a channel? Are you a prophet? Are you experiencing psychic visions? Do you see the future? Are you a seer? Do you consider yourself a teacher? Are you an encourager? Are you an echo? All of these words kind of speak to me, and I've been told I am an echo. What I say on this day, when it sits on the internet, it's here forever. So there might be 5 people watching. Some people might do the hashtag replay, watch it later, but this will sit, and you don't know who's going to come through here when I'm long gone, when you're long gone. My music, when I'm long gone, it's going to sit there listening. We're still listening to the Beatles. We're still listening to people of old. What you give here is not just for now. There's an echo. Let that echo. See yourself as bigger than you really are, because you are. You are so much bigger than you really are. So I'm just going to end with a little prayer for you guys. If that resonates, if you're feeling like, yes, there's more, if you're feeling that shift in the timeline, I want to encourage you to say yes. Yes, I am going to be a vessel for divine. Yes, I am allowing that to come through me. Yes, I am letting go of that resistance so that I can be fully seen, so that Spirit can be fully seen through me, for the advancement of mankind. It's not just for us, it's for the world. And I believe that what's coming is far greater than the devastation and the evil and the darkness that we see. And in letting it come through us, we're always winning. Love always wins. So I just pray for everyone that is on this call now. I pray for those that are watching on the replay, that something would activate within your heart, that you would respond with a yes, that you want to be partakers of the joy and the peace and the glory and the manifestation of love on earth. Are you willing to be a partaker in that? It is an invitation. We don't have to say yes, but the invitation is here. And I just pray that your heart will be sparked. And if any of this resonates and you want to have a call with me or connect with me to try and sort of pinpoint what it is that you're being called to, if you're a little unsure, that's something that I specialize in. I just listen to Spirit, and if whatever Spirit is saying, I will share with you. If you're wanting a bit more clarity, get in touch and we can hop on a call or whatever. But either way, be blessed today. I love you. Great change is about to take place.